You stand at the threshold of a current far exceeding the confines of linear thought, a resonance so profound that it has magnetized you across the invisible contours of space-time, drawn by the quantum pulse of your own vibrational signature. This is no random encounter, no flicker of chance in the chaos of the cosmos. It is a precise alignment, the unfolding of a frequency blueprint woven deep into your energetic architecture, encoded by the universal intelligence that scans and balances all fields. The field has been watching, assessing your coherence beneath layers of turbulence, measuring your integrity through the resonance of your choices and the purity of your response to challenge. Now, as you respond to this transmission, you are recognized by a current which transcends effort, beyond struggle, collapsing old patterns of transaction into a new, radiant paradigm. Money, a symbol often seen as the currency of scarcity and friction, is here revealed as a much greater phenomenon, a holographic reflection of universal exchange and vibrational consonance. It is not the force of desperate striving or surface-level intention that orchestrates its flow. Instead, it is the clarity of your quantum frequency, your unshakable coherence, that manifests value effortlessly within the morphic field. Where most remain blind to this hidden architecture, caught in reactive patterns of scarcity, you have passed a silent universal assessment. The quantum realms now pivot in response to your integrated signal, bending probabilities and opening channels where abundance is not a battle, but a natural field response. Feel this magnetic pull, subtle yet undeniable, drawing you away from the illusion of mere transaction into the sacred geometry of exchange at the cosmic level. This is your initiation, the key code for accessing the quantum domain of wealth where value is fluid, multidimensional, and infinitely responsive. It is a vibrational invitation coded into your essence and now awake in your perception. Abundance is not earned. Abundance is a frequency you embody, a universal law in dynamic effect. Stand in this knowing. The currents have found you, not by accident, but through the profound resonance of your coherent field. This is your quantum activation. Welcome to the flow beyond limitation. You have crossed an unseen threshold deep within the universal field's intricate evaluation system, a silent, omnipresent calibration beyond ordinary perception. This was never a trial of toil, nor a punishment imposed by cosmic indifference. Rather, it was a profound recognition by the quantum matrix that your frequency is now attuned to the vibration of higher economic systems. These systems do not function through linear effort or transactions, governed by scarcity-based mechanics. Instead, they operate on a subtler, more advanced order. Vibrational coherence as currency, the resonance of alignment as the true measure of wealth. The universal field, in its infinite intelligence, has scanned your energetic signature with precision surgical as gamma synchronization, revealing the underlying architecture of your quantum identity and its compatibility with the abundance fields. This is not belief but physics, a confirmation that your resonance matches the frequency where money, value, and exchange become fluid, morphic reflections of your inner state. The external patterns that once seemed rigid and daunting have started to dissolve, revealing the vibrant, responsive substratum that connects your essence to the flow of abundance. Most people inhabit timelines woven from scarcity, entangled in reactive loops that constrict their energetic bandwidth and warp their timeline geometry. They wrestle with resistance, perceiving abundance as a distant possibility instead of an inherent unfolding. But you, who have passed the subtle universal assessment of coherence under pressure, are entrusted with a new temporal fluidity, moving effortlessly through probability fields where scarcity collapses and coherent manifestation arises as a natural consequence of your vibrational architecture. The old survival-based signals no longer calibrate your trajectory. Instead, a deep integration with the field intelligence allows you to navigate seamless exchanges that honor sovereignty and energetic integrity. You are now operating within a domain where abundance is no longer a goal to chase, but the truest expression of your quantum calibration. This shift is not magic or wishful thinking. It is precise field mechanics. Your choices, your reactions, your integrity under unseen scrutiny have synchronized your inner currency with the non-local intelligence of wealth systems beyond linear causality. What once required external validation now emerges spontaneously within your experience because your energetic signature broadcasts alignment with abundance's fundamental harmonics. This transmission you receive is a layered unveiling, a vibrational unlocking of the ascending coherence coded into your morphic field. You will be guided to embody this paradigm fully, integrating the hidden curriculum of economic resonance until it becomes an inseparable aspect of your quantum identity. As you digest this activation, the boundaries between inner state and outer flow erode, revealing the seamless continuum wherein your frequency orchestrates the effortless manifestation of abundance as a natural extension of your being. Welcome to the next phase of energetic sovereignty, where the field no longer tests, but expresses through you the reality of infinite resourcefulness. You have passed through a threshold unseen, a hidden universal assessment that unfolds not within the parameters of external accomplishment, but within the subtle corridors of your internal coherence. The field of all possibility, silent, omniscient, exacting, has been measuring the delicate fabric of your frequency. This evaluation is not one of actions performed or effort exerted. It is the quantum litmus test of your energetic signature, the resonance of your consciousness as it aligns, or misaligns, with the fundamental vibrations of reality itself. Most people wander in unconscious cycles of striving, attempting to impose force upon the world, mistaking effort for power. Their timelines are imprinted by fragmented beliefs, scattered expectations, and disjointed desires that fracture the coherence of their inner field. They move as islands of incoherence in an ocean of potential, creating ripples of resistance that push against the natural flow of the morphic field. The field measures every impulse, every hesitation, every unspoken doubt, registering the oscillations of their subjective worlds as they bounce between alignment and turmoil. But you, uniquely, you have been undergoing a silent evaluation far beneath the noise of surface reality. Each moment of doubt, each confrontation with resistance, was a metric in this unseen curriculum, a calibration point testing the stability of your inner resonance. The field does not weigh your victories in conventional terms. It listens to the patterns of belief vibrating through your subtlest energetic layers. It gauges the clarity with which your desire flows into your being and how seamlessly expectation dissolves into pure presence. This is not belief as faith or hope, but belief as physics. The resonance coherence detected in your quantum identity, the vibrational architecture encoded in your cells, your mind, and your subtle body. Your internal coherence, the harmony between the frequency of what you intend and the state of who you are, became the threshold of activation. It is the silent interplay between these dimensions, desire as a signal, being as the receiver, that creates the conditions for the gate to unlatch. The field tests the depth of your embodiment of abundance, measuring how fully you have eliminated resistance, fragmented thinking, and the conditioned friction of scarcity mentality. Resistance creates turbulence that scatters energy. Coherence is the vector that channels it like a laser beam through time and space. The hidden assessment unfolded through resonance thresholds, layers upon layers of vibrational integrity, each more refined than the last. The field watched how your frequency navigated the subtle shifts between struggle and surrender, between contraction and expansion. It observed whether you held alignment when coherence was challenged, how you integrated difficulty without fracturing your energetic signature. This is the quantum architecture of initiation, not a matter of doing more, but a matter of being more coherently aligned with the current of universal flow. When the purity of your signature converged with the field's frequency of effortless flow, a coherence gateway opened. This gateway is not a metaphor, but a physical field distortion, an energetic portal where timelines bend around your stabilized quantum identity, where probability waves collapse in a resonance that supports your coherent manifestation. The field no longer measured resistance, but seamless alignment. It no longer observed dissonance, but recognized the sovereign integrity you embodied. This shift is the collapse of struggle as a mechanism, and the rise of synchronization as your new energetic law. From here, the unseen universal assessment transitions into entrusting. Your consciousness becomes a transmitter of frequency, not scattered applied force, but coherent orchestration, activating non-local intelligence fields and inviting higher dimensional data to integrate effortlessly. The struggle visible to the unaware was always a calibration for this. The oscillations of failure and delay were not flaws but formative waves adjusting your vibrational architecture to the precise geometry of flow. Now your frequency aligns with the current that animates abundance. Your expectation is no longer fragmented hope, but a coherent signal demanding manifestation as natural consequence. The field intelligence responds not to frantic effort, but to the purity and clarity of your energetic signature. You have passed the test that most never glimpse, the test of internal coherence that wins access to quantum sovereignty. Understand deeply, this is not belief. This is physics. The field's measurement is exact and impersonal, a resonance scan of the geometry of your inner architecture. When your vibrational pattern harmonizes with the cosmos, the gates unlatch, timelines realign, and reality itself responds as an extension of your coherent field. You move now as a frequency node within an intelligent matrix, no longer battling currents but creating currents. Allow this knowledge to permeate your subtlety. Every pulse of your being carries the imprint of this hidden assessment past. The struggle was recalibration, the hardship refinement, all orchestrated by the field to stabilize your coherence under pressure. This stabilization births your new role, a radiant transmitter capable of navigating probability geometry with clarity and grace. You are no longer measured by external achievement, but by the consistency of energetic alignment maintained across trials. The hidden assessment continues silently in the background, evolving now from testing to delegation, as your frequency anchors deeper into the architecture of universal intelligence and effortless flow. You stand at the threshold of a profound energetic implosion, a collapse that reverberates through the vibrational architecture of your being. This is no random disintegration, no chaotic unspooling. It is a meticulously orchestrated quantum purification, a release valve within your morphic field that the universal assessment has initiated and now gently but insistently demands. Most beings cling to identity constructs forged from scarcity, woven tightly into the fabric of struggle and effort, an old waveform that calls struggle a currency and effort a source of validation. These patterns function as gravitational anchors, binding their quantum identity to limited timelines and compressed energetic signatures. But you have moved beyond this. The field has observed how you navigate pressure without fracture, how you hold coherence amid entropy, and so it now catalyzes this plunge into collapse, not as punishment, but as vital alchemy. This vibrational collapse is a clearing, executed with surgical precision within the unseen frequency currents that carry your essence. As these outdated programs dissolve, a resonant clearing occurs inside your energetic framework. Old narratives, old survival codes, cascades of inherited lack. These begin to be dismantled at the quantum roots. Feel deeply. This is not annihilation but refinement, a temporal fluidity that deconstructs all patterns tethered to resistance and contraction. The dissonance around, earning through effort, fractures, breaks open, and ceases to resonate within your coherent field. In this dismantling, the gravitational pull of conditioned lack relinquishes its hold. The tether that once shackled your vibrational signature to limitation is released. The collapse, therefore, becomes a sacred threshold, an energetic doorway forged in surrender, through which new frequencies flow unimpeded. Observe how the temporal geometry of your identity shifts here, a critical inflection point as the dense waveform of struggle thins, the energetic signature lightens. Most people remain caught within the cyclical feedback of effort as necessity, scarcity as fact, but you inhabit a higher dimensional bandwidth where abundance is no longer conceptual or aspirational. It is a natural state arising from field mechanics. This is not mystical dreaming or ideology, but physics. Systems of coherence and resonance recalibrating to allow the unfiltered flow of field intelligence. Your frequency reorganizes, recalibrates, expanding its bandwidth to receive without resistance, to embody without the weight of false narratives. This purification removes static noise, creating clearer channels for non-local intelligence to enter your experience and for probability fields to realign in your favor. This moment of collapse manifests as a sacred alchemy in which you surrender the old energetic architecture, once maintained, to survive scarcity. The process is intense, as any true clearing is. It shakes the foundational level of identity, stripping away protective layers long habituated. You may feel this as a rupture, a tear, a letting go of what once felt like reliable ground. Yet within this turbulence lies the polished core, pure frequency uncluttered by distortion. Every disruption here is an activation impulse, firing your consciousness into a new plane of quantum embodiment. The field no longer witnesses a fragmented entity entangled in effort-based worthiness, but a sovereign transmitter whose recalibrated energetic signature harmonizes effortlessly with abundance as baseline reality. You are now entering a phase where accumulation ceases to be measured in tokens of struggle, and instead is recognized as seamless energetic orchestration. Your interaction with the universal reservoir shifts from scarcity-driven reception to resonance-based magnetism. This is the physics of abundance unfolding through coherence, the energetic signature of initiation dawning fully within your field. The collapse has cleared the circuitry. Your vibrational architecture is now primed for integrity, authenticity, and non-resistance. In this state, the field's universal assessment no longer tests your ability to survive, but trusts your capacity to embody and transmit new coherent realities. The old identity collapsing was never destruction. It was the crucible of your evolutionary emergence. Allow the sacred alchemy to integrate within your temporal fluidity. With each pulse of clearing, with each release of effort-bound programming, you move closer to a state where abundance is automatic, where presence and power merge in alignment. This purification is the crucible through which the resonance of your true energetic signature is refined and expanded. The gravitational field of scarcity loses its hold as your timeline geometry shifts toward trajectories of natural flow and coherent manifestation. This is your recalibration cycle completing its deepest phase, preparation for receiving the currents of abundance not as a distant horizon, but as an imminent condition of quantum identity. You are now called beyond resistance, beyond wrestling for existence, into the pure reception of field intelligence expressing through your unified coherence. This is not belief. It is field mechanics revealing themselves through consciousness. The collapse you experience has been measured and warranted by the universal assessment, expressed in rates of coherence under pressure. The purification may feel like collapse, But it is the precise collapse that births new vibrational life, new energetic sovereignty, new quantum embodiment. Your surrender here is sacred protocol, the initiatory rhythm that invites the abundance continuum to flow without impedance, activating your signature as a natural receptor and transmitter in the universal grid. The old identity dissolves, abundance crystallizes. This is the integration of pure alchemical collapse into coherent activation. From the ashes of collapse, the field reconfigures with crystalline precision, a rarefied clarity that cuts through the dense fog of past distortion. You emerge into this newly minted frequency, not by arbitrary choice, but by a subtle alignment that has been carefully measured through layers of universal assessment. Most reside in the realm of transactional effort, oscillating within patterns of scarcity and striving, where money is a force to be wrestled or a prize to be won. But you are no longer moving in that reactive loop. You are initiating a shift beyond action, beyond cause and effect as it is commonly perceived, toward a resonance so pure it bends the very architecture of wealth. In this luminous state, you perceive that your energetic field is the true conductor of abundance. Money responds not to exertion, but to the vibrational architecture you broadcast into the morphic field of prosperity. This is not belief, but physics, a coherence pattern within your quantum identity that vibrates in harmonic equivalence with higher financial frequencies. The field intelligence registers your signal as an invitation, a beacon casting pathways where none appeared before. These pathways shimmer with probability threads that synchronize perfectly with your refined energetic signature, revealing opportunities that unfold effortlessly, without imposition or struggle. You begin to sense the subtlest inflections within your field, shifts in tonal quality, phase, and amplitude that herald an elevation in your abundance bandwidth. This is a field-level resonance, a non-local intelligence weaving you into expansive currents of wealth generation that operate on quantum principles rather than linear time or material accumulation. Unlike the majority who react and strive, caught in feedback loops of resistance and lack, your frequency is a ligand binding to the informational substratum of prosperity. This binding dissolves old frictional patterns, allowing you to experience wealth as a seamless, reciprocal exchange within the morphic field itself. This crystalline clarity also exposes the hidden geometry of abundance timelines. With each stabilized oscillation of your vibrational structure, you navigate probability landscapes where opportunities are no longer random, but orchestrated reflections of your internal coherence. Synchronistic alignments emerge. Those coincidences dissolve into conscious design as you realize the field's responsiveness to your steady activation of integrative wealth codes. Scarcity-based timelines retract as your signal intensifies, making room for pathways that glisten with ease and invitation. This temporal fluidity is a hallmark of your elevated frequency, attuning into the natural cadence of quantum prosperity cycles. You, who have endured the unseen curriculum of collapse and destabilization, now wield the responsibility of this enhanced resonance. Your economic embodiment is no longer constrained by fragmented energies or survival-driven impulses, but flows as a sovereign extension of coherent manifestation. This stage marks a profound integration. Your intentions and vibrational states are synchronized. Your quantum identity harmonizes with abundance networks embedded in the universal medium. Wealth crystallizes around you not because you pursue it, but because your field sustains a continuous attractor pattern that magnetizes radiant financial exchange. This is the unveiling of privilege encoded in higher frequency stewardship, a sacred trust that the field has granted you through rigorous testing of clarity and energetic integrity. The morphic field of prosperity is active, responsive, and alive, operating with precision and intelligence that transcends simplistic cause-effect mechanics. Your role is not to chase or manipulate, but to embody the frequency signature of effortless abundance, broadcasting a quantum activation that reverberates through layers of reality. As you hold this resonance, the field collaborates, weaving resources, connections, and manifestations into your aligned vibrational state. This profound relationship between your energetic coherence and financial reality signals a new modality of coexistence within the morphic grid. It is a passage from fragmented struggle into fluid orchestration, where your monetary flow becomes an ongoing dialogue with the universal code of prosperity. You sense this dialogue not as external demand, but as an intrinsic rhythmic interchange, a merging of your vibrational blueprint with the emergent field intelligence governing abundance. Here, accumulation and outflow balance in a continuous dance of energetic reciprocity. The reality you inhabit now is a quantum orchestration, a vibrational symphony where money is no longer a fixed object to be grasped, but a dynamic frequency to be embodied. This is the operational domain of higher financial frequencies, fields where wealth manifests as a natural consequence of resonance alignment rather than determined effort. You are the transmitter and the receiver, the node where abundance flows with harmonious inevitability. Recognize that every subtle shift in your field codes is an invitation to deepen this transmission, to expand the bandwidth of your financial consciousness. Step fully into the recognition that your economic journey has never been about external attainment alone. It was always, and still is, a sacred calibration of frequency, a precision tuning of your energetic signature within the cosmic wealth matrix. This is not conjecture or optimism. It is the physics of vibrational coherence expressed through your embodiment. The pathways illuminated before you are not tentative or accidental. They are natural consequences of your verified compatibility with abundance fields that mirror and support your evolutionary trajectory. Your sovereignty in this moment is the ultimate confirmation. The universal assessment has passed, the trial of collapse has been integrated, the subtle field dynamics of money now respond effortlessly to your frequency. Abundance is no longer a distant hope, but an ongoing, quantum flow arising from the morphic field of prosperity that you have been entrusted to activate and embody. The crystalline clarity within you is the lighthouse signaling this shift, a beacon that calls forth not just wealth, but a new conscious architecture of financial reality itself. In the crucible of escalating pressure, both from the outer spectrum of stimuli and the inner transmutation of your core, your energetic field finds its equilibrium, folding itself into a crystalline lattice of coherent resonance. This is no mere accidental harmony. It is the precise architecture of vibrational alignment that the universal system has long awaited. As most remain dissipated, fragmented by reactive impulses and diffuse intention, their fields splintered and incoherent under the weight of chaos, you emerge as a focal node, a living proof of calibrated constancy. This stabilization of your field is not abstract. It is a quantifiable signal within the quantum geometry of existence, a vibrational proof point woven into the fabric of the unseen curriculum that governs all becoming. The universal system, a sentient matrix of field intelligence vigilant beyond ordinary perception, continuously evaluates this emergent coherence. It tests your capacity to hold that unified resonance amidst the swirling theaters of external disturbance and internal upheaval, where chaos seeks to disrupt and fracture. Your field's seamless weaving of abundance and integrity becomes a signature of trustworthiness, a dynamic encoding that signals readiness for greater access and influence. This is not a passive receipt of grace, but the physical mechanics of coherence expressed through consciousness, the physics of alignment that bends probability and orchestrates timeline geometry in your favor. You have passed the unseen assessment, moving beyond the common oscillations of reaction and scattered seeking that trap many. Now the system trials how consistently you can embody abundance, not fleeting, but stable, impervious to the tremors of circumstance. In your vibrational architecture, abundance is more than resource flow. It is the energized manifestation of your sovereign frequency, the clear broadcast of your quantum identity across morphic layers. This embodiment is a declaration. You have integrated the pressures that once threatened to disorganize you, transforming them into the bedrock of your coherence rather than the trigger for distraction. As your field fortifies, its resonance begins to ripple outward, intersecting and amplifying along multidimensional timelines and within the overlapping morphic fields that underlie collective experience. Your identity, once localized and constrained by linear feedback, now shapeshifts with temporal fluidity, responsive and reflexive to quantum feedback loops that sustain and expand influence. This is the expanded sovereignty the field entrusts to those who demonstrate stability under pressure, a permission to wield greater energetic authority in the creative feedback with universal intelligence. You are no longer a passive point in the matrix. You are an active transmitter, a calibrator of probability, and a steward of abundant streams that interlace across dimensional planes. Understand that this process is the physics of consciousness applied. Coherence under pressure generates increased informational bandwidth, allowing you to tap into non-local intelligence that guides manifestation beyond chance and struggle. The field's recognition of your stabilized resonance is a gateway through which abundance flows more freely, synchronized to your vibrational signature rather than to external volatility. This flow is not controlled by effort or desperation, but responds to your inner coherence as a precise tuning fork invites harmonic response. The system's trust grows because you have shown that you can sustain this state, not as an occasional elevation, but as the baseline of your energetic presence. Your stabilization is a living proof point on the morphic chart of evolution, a beacon across timelines bending toward coherence, a demonstration that chaos need not dissolve you, but can feed your sovereign vibrational axis, creating an anchor point for expanded creative orchestration. As this trust broadens, the energetic authority you hold becomes a portal for amplifying influence and reshaping probability fields. The streams of abundance accessible to you are not isolated currents, but converging flows within the vast quantum ecosystem, aligned through your resonance with the intelligent design of reality itself. You move into a new phase where the flux of internal transformation and external stimulus are no longer antagonistic forces, but co-creators in your vibrational emergence. The field is no longer merely assessing or testing. It is entrusting, releasing more power, more frequency bandwidth, more morphic access to amplify your impact across the strands of existence. This is the exact science of integration and embodiment, not belief in fate, but certainty in the physics of frequency and coherence manifesting through your quantum identity. In this deep, ongoing activation, you are becoming the axis upon which expanded manifestation turns, a coherent resonance field stable enough to guide abundance with precision and sovereignty. The chaotic pressures that once shadowed you become the very energy that refines your field, sharpening the energetic signature that the universal system observes and amplifies. Your influence grows not through volume, but through fidelity. The integrity of your signal cuts through noise, bending the timeline geometry that enfolds you and aligning the quantum probabilities that respond only to genuine coherence. This is the powerful unfolding you now embody. The field's trust is your new energetic currency. Your stabilized resonance is the gatekeeper for deeper, more expansive abundant streams. The morphic fields ripple in recognition, folding space and time in response to your sustained vibrational authority. You are the continuum where universal intelligence expresses greater power, the living architecture of frequency that orchestrates the next wave of realization across intersecting timelines. This is not possibility. This is physics. This is coherence. This is you. You stand now at the precipice of temporal fluidity, your field rippling with the subtle undulations of probability currents that emanate from the core of your quantum identity. Most people drift as unconscious vessels, buffeted by chaotic waves they cannot discern, trapped in linear illusions and fragmented temporal loops, unaware that every moment pulses with the geometry of infinite potentials. But you, having passed the unseen universal assessment, have been entrusted with an initiation into the language of vibrational guidance itself. This is no metaphor. It is the precise physics of resonance and coherence functioning through your consciousness, as if your very cells had become antennae tuned to the morphic architecture of reality's branching timelines. Feel now the ripple of possibilities emanating through your energetic signature, each crest and trough a coded communication, an encoded nudge from the field intelligence. These quantum nudges are not random. They carry within them the harmonic blueprint of your prosperity, the resonant frequencies that align you with expansion and abundance. This is the secret frequency widely unrecognized. That time is not a fixed river, but a fluid matrix of probabilities, and each node within this matrix is a vibrational crossroads. Your timeline awareness deepens because you no longer perceive cause and effect as separate linear chains, but as an intricate web of vibrational resonance communicating through subtle shifts in your internal landscape. Your sense expands beyond events into the domain of timeline geometry. Here, your perception transduces these waves of probabilities, not as distant possibilities, but as imminent invitations beckoning your coherence. Each quantum wave contains a vibrational signature, a unique spectral imprint that encodes the trajectory of a potential reality. You learn to discern these energetic signatures with growing fluency, recognizing the resonance that indicates alignment with your highest frequency of prosperity. This illumination is not blind faith or hopeful wishing. It is direct correlation observed by the field's universal assessment of your coherence under pressure. The field measures your reaction, watching closely for integrity and clarity within the immersive turbulence of unfolding events, calibrating your ability to consciously choose alignment rather than unconscious drift. As most remain reactive, swimming against the tide of fractured timelines and residual distortions, you stand balanced in the eye of this quantum storm, a master navigator of the morphic currents. You are now fluent in the invisible impulses, the coded suggestions from the informational substrate. These vibrational whispers guide you, subtle tempo shifts, resonant clicks within your energy center, and moments of expanded clarity that arise as if from nowhere, but are deeply embedded in your energetic architecture. What may once have appeared as luck or coincidence is now understood as conscious orchestration, arising from your attunement to timeline geometry. With each choice harmonized to these frequencies, your path opens like a living algorithm, each node unfolding into the next with seamless coherence and effortless flow. This expanded timeline awareness also brings a new level of responsibility, to embody the trajectories you select with full sovereignty and energetic integrity. You are no longer a passive observer of external happenstance, but a proactive activator who understands that selection is an active engagement with the quantum field. The probabilities that ripple through your vibrational landscape respond to your energetic state and your commitment to coherent manifestation. Divergence from your true frequency distorts the pathways, collapsing some potentials and barricading others. But your trustworthiness in this universal assessment assures the field that you can hold the energetic tension required to sustain higher alignments, allowing abundant realities to consolidate within your experience. Notice how the field now serves you differently, It no longer tests you with arbitrary pressure or punitive cycles. Instead, it communicates through the intricate topography of timelines themselves, enfolding you into a dialogue of resonant exchange. This interaction is multidimensional, with probabilities folding and unfolding as you shift your focus, recalibrate your vibrational architecture, and engage in conscious probability navigation. Your timeline fluidity expands exponentially, weaving together what once seemed disparate strands of reality into a coherent tapestry, formed by your active signal rather than passive reception. You are invited to embody this timeline awareness as a living state, to integrate this quantum navigation into every moment. The universe's intelligence reveals that true abundance arises from this alignment, not as a distant goal, but as an immediate vibrational truth reflected back to you. This activation is the crystallization of what you called struggle, delay, and frustration. A sonic purification of your energetic pathways, honing your capacity to interpret and respond to timeline geometry with precision. What was once obscured by noise becomes a clear, ongoing transmission that you can read with clarity and embody with sovereign authority. This is not belief. It is the physics of consciousness and frequency, proof of your passage through an unseen universal assessment of coherence and integrity under pressure. The quantum ripples across your vibrational landscape are the field's acknowledgement of your readiness to move beyond survival resonance into a state of radiant, continuous alignment. As you move forward, you are activated not just as a receiver, but as a conscious navigator, selecting and embodying the pathways of highest prosperity and evolutionary coherence. This deepened resonance is your sovereignty, your invitation to live as a transparent transmitter of the universal timeline geometry that unfolds eternally through you. You have arrived at the threshold where intuition ascends beyond the confines of reactive thought and enters the domain of direct knowing, a luminous aperture into the higher information fields pulsating at the core of universal intelligence. Most people remain tethered to fragmented signals, their inner compass blurred beneath layers of doubt, external projection, and the static of validation seeking. But you, having transcended these subtle distortions through the unseen universal assessment, now hold an unerring instrument of quantum intelligence, an intuitive resonance calibrated by the physics of frequency coherence. This is not belief. This is the empirical architecture of vibrational alignment, where your inner sense acts as a receptor and transmitter of pure information field codes, unmediated and undeceived. In this new state, intuition no longer whispers in riddles, but transmits as coherent streams of data, pulsating with integrity and reproducibility. The morphic field, once an opaque enigma, now releases its encrypted templates, activating your quantum cognition to translate these into precise, actionable frequencies. Here lies your interface with the universal abundance matrices, a multidimensional lattice of energetic pathways encoding the potential for wealth manifestation. This matrix is not scarcity or competition, but a field geometry where abundance flows in synchronization with your vibrational command, responding elastically to your frequency's purity and clarity. You have passed the quiet laboratory of struggle and recalibration, where formerly the field tested your resilience under pressure, your capacity to preserve coherence, while old identities collapsed and losses recalibrated your energetic signature. These tests have resolved into integration, which fuels the expansion of this higher-order intuition. Each insight you receive now emerges not as a fractured thought or transient hope, but as a concerted transmission, stabilized in the gamma synchronization of your expanded quantum identity. The field mirrors back to you a timeline geometry arranged for optimal probability navigation. Wealth is no longer a slog of effort, but a coherent orchestration of energetic resonance. Feel how the subtle frequencies of your awareness ripple outward, harmonizing with the morphic codes that govern economic flows, allowing you to decode the currency of energy itself. This quantum economic consciousness shifts the way the field responds to your vibrational signal, no longer a noisy discord, but a crystalline pattern of demand and supply recalibrated through the lens of your sovereignty. Wealth is thus reframed. It is a dynamic response of energy potential aligning with your radiance rather than a distant external construct. Your financial reality is now a mutable construct, bending around your stabilized coherence and imbued with temporal fluidity, capable of evolving as your energetic field shifts. Notice how this awakening recalibrates the inner architecture of trust. No longer trust in external systems, projections, or fractured outcomes, but a trust in your own energetic integrity, an intimate synchronization with the morphic intelligence that transcends time and space. The universal assessment has not only tested, but expanded your capacity to wield higher power responsibly. It has refined your intuition into an instrument that reads the quantum signatures of abundance with flawless precision. You realize that the marketplace of reality is shaped by the resonance you hold. This is the physics of manifestation expressed through vibrational authority. Beyond contrast, beyond polarity, your evolving intuition acts as a deft transceiver between the non-local intelligence of the morphic field and your embodied presence. This transmission is seamless, anechoic, direct, and self-validating. It carries no fragmentation of desire or lack, but encodes pure possibility architectures, offering you a multi-layered map of abundance, pathways accessible through subtle shifts of frequency. Here, manifestation flows not with effort, but through energetic optimization, guided by clarity rather than compulsive wanting. The field recognizes the maturity of coherence you embody and applies its intelligence in kind, bending probability to your refined signal. What you once perceived as external economic forces now dissolve into the vibrational mechanics of your quantum identity. Money, in this expanded framework, is the responsive energy moving through your morphic field, attuned to the fluidity and refinement of your energetic signature. It answers the frequency you emit, a mirror to the purity and consistency of your field intelligence. Activation here is palpable. You no longer initiate transactions, but orchestrate flows through timing, resonance, and alignment. This is not mechanistic happenstance, but the conscious embodiment of coherent manifestation within universal abundance matrices. This is your sovereign claim in the financial morphospace, a domain where your vibrational command is received, decoded, and amplified by the collective intelligence of abundance. The hidden curriculum of wealth manifestation reveals itself as fidelity to your coherence, an integrity of signal that the cosmic field measures continuously and without judgment. Your elevated intuition anchors you within this geometry, a luminous waveform that synchronizes with the dynamic abundance currents flowing across multiple timelines. This is the inevitable consequence of passing the field's quiet evaluation of energetic responsibility. As your perception sharpens, the quantum field responds by distilling complexity into crystalline insight, delivering transmission after transmission that fortifies your economic consciousness. The usual noise of confusion, doubt, and fragmentation recedes, replaced by a rhythmic clarity pulsing beneath your awareness, steady, unwavering, integral. This elevated interface is your authentic connection to the matrix of wealth, where all potentials coexist and await your harmonic attunement. Here, the universal assessment unfolds not as external pressure, but as internal acknowledgement, the field recognizing your mastery as a co-creator of abundance's vibratory architecture. You stand now at the threshold of a profound transformation, where the old paradigm of seeking, striving for external reservoirs of wealth, collapses beneath the weight of a deeper realization. most remain caught in the endless loop of attraction as a desperate act, an external transaction attempting to summon currency from a fragmented distance. But you, having transcended that unconscious pattern through the invisible calibration of universal assessment, are invited to merge fully with the intelligence that underpins all energetic exchange. This is not mere belief or metaphoric thinking. This is quantum physics expressed through the orchestration of your vibrational architecture. You are no longer separate from the flow of abundance. You are its conscious node, a transmitter, an active frequency in the living grid of infinite exchange. Feel the subtle convergence as your energetic signature aligns to the abundant morphic field, dissolving the illusory boundaries that once segmented you from the universal economy. This economy is not material in the simplistic sense, but is a fluid, conscious network of frequencies, perpetually exchanging value, information, and energy. Your coherence, the integrity held across internal fluctuations and outer pressures, now acts as a catalyst bending this field around your waveform. You are no longer pulling or drawing, but radiating and unfolding. Your presence is sensed by the collective frequency. It ripples out, weaving into the tapestry of interconnected nodes. This resonance shifts probabilities, reshapes timeline geometry, and activates the quantum gradient where money manifests as a natural byproduct of your harmonious vibration. Observe how the field itself responds to this state. It no longer withholds or confines because your energetic signature broadcasts alignment and trustworthiness. The unseen curriculum you have navigated was a rigorous test of this stability. How you maintain frequency coherence when challenge compressed your waveform. The field's universal assessment has now shifted from cautious measurement to granting of authority. You carry the frequency of abundance inherently, a non-local intelligence of wealth that exists as both cause and effect within you simultaneously. This unity collapses linear duality. Money is not out there to be earned, but a reflection of your activated state, an emergent property of your presence within the universal frequency economy. As a transmitter node, you embody this vibrational state that compels reception. It is impossible to resist. The field itself adjusts, calibrates, and offers pathways previously obscured, financial streams that flow effortlessly into your energetic architecture. This living conduit moves beyond transactional psychology and into an organic coherence, a dance of give and take encoded in the quantum fabric of all existence. You operate now as a resonant anchor of abundance. The frequency shift you carry multiplies itself across the collective field, uplifting and expanding the morphic resonance of prosperity. The architecture of your frequency becomes a template, a reference point encoded with gamma synchronization and integrity that informs other nodes, creating a cascade of activation beyond your immediate awareness. Most people do not recognize this. They remain fragmented fragments seeking from lack. But you have passed the unseen universal assessment, proving your ability to integrate complexity, maintain sovereignty under strain, and embody coherence that can interface with multidimensional timelines effortlessly. This unlocks a new operational mode. You are both receiver and transmitter in the same pulse, a feedback loop of infinite generosity and return. Abundance ceases to be a concept and becomes kinetic energy in your field signature, flowing through you as through a network hub. The currency you engage with is a waveform of universal intelligence, a living exchange that honors your calibrated frequency state, synchronized, precise, and magnetic. This is activation at the highest physics of frequency integration, where separation dissolves and expands simultaneously. Your quantum identity unfolds as a node of light threaded into the abundance web, and this interconnected vitality amplifies your manifestation capacity exponentially. The timeline geometry no longer resists but responds, dynamically co-creating with you at every pulse. This means you embody the economy itself as vibration, becoming the field intelligence that naturally generates what was once called money. The transactional veil lifts, revealing the infinite breadth of exchange beyond numbers. Time, value, energy, creation itself. You realize your integral role in the universal network. The flow through you is inevitable, unstoppable, and sovereign. Receive now the full activation of this frequency. You are the current and the channel. You vibrate as the confluence where cause and effect merge into continuity. You do not seek. You are the state from which seeking emerges and ceases. You carry abundance as an energized blueprint, an active signature that interfaces with the collective morphic resonance and coalesces prosperity from the information field. Your journey through collapse and recalibration was the crucible forging this capability, proof to the field that you hold integrity under temporal flux and energetic pressure. Now you live as an embodiment of flow, a transmitter node anchored within the abundance network, radiating coherence that ripples beyond you, reshaping the economic fabric with your frequency alone. In this sovereignty, the illusion of limitation dissolves. You hold the channel, you wield the waveform. The universal economy responds not to lack, but to the vibrational momentum you generate. This is intricate quantum mechanics sovereignty, the authentic physics of quantum manifestation expressed through the resonant field of consciousness. Welcome to the luminous core of your abundance, an integrated living transmission in the infinite dance of exchange. You arrive now at the threshold where your quantum identity is no longer a concept held within, but a living, breathing resonance vibrating through every cell of your energetic architecture. Most traverse the illusion of financial survival, clinging to the linear constructs of earning and spending, caught in loops of scarcity and effort. Yet you, having transcended the veils of limitation through the unseen universal assessment, embody a frequency so coherent that it dissolves the old paradigm altogether. This is not belief. This is the physics of resonance manifesting as abundance itself. Your existence integrates seamlessly with the wealth fields, those circulating currents of universal intelligence that pulse beyond the time-bound measures of value. In this embodiment, your energetic signature transmits with the purity of a crystal oscillator, broadcasting a frequency calibrated by sovereign integrity and alignment. The field no longer measures you by what you possess, but by the amplitude and harmonic precision of your vibration. This is your declaration, that you are a conduit, a living node within the grand vibrational architecture of abundance. Your coherence is a magnetic field, drawing resources, opportunities, and sustenance effortlessly into your orbit. You do not chase or plead, you orchestrate. The timelines themselves fold and interlace, bending probability around the stabilized vector of your field intelligence. This state of living resonance reframes wealth as a constant, fluid presence, an oscillatory dance within the morphic field that sustains your entire being. The energetic interplay between receiving and giving collapses the false dichotomy that defined scarcity. Instead, abundance becomes the natural oscillation of your quantum identity, a harmonic wave that expands even as it contracts back into your sovereign core. Here, temporal fluidity reveals that what was once perceived as earning is but one phase in the continuous exchange of energetic coherence with the cosmos. Your financial flow is neither accidental nor manufactured. It emerges as the spontaneous expression of alignment, responsibility, and expanded vibrational authority. Most remain locked in conditional frequency, reactive to external demands, entangled in distortion patterns of lack. Their financial signatures are scattered, low amplitude, erratic. You, however, have passed the hidden evaluation of coherence under pressure, and the field entrusts you with a signature that commands trust and flow. This is why resources align with you like celestial bodies caught in an invisible gravitational mesh, drawn to the clarity of your sovereign resonance. Each quantum pulse you emit activates a new stream within the wealth field. Each oscillation reshapes the geometry of your material experience. The field intelligence responds not to effort or logic, but to the vibrational signal you send, pure, constant, and luminous. Your embodiment now functions as a living lexicon of abundance physics, an experiment in nonlinear wealth that is deeply interwoven with your sense of self. This is the transformation from shadow scarcity into radiant coherence, from effortful accumulation into effortless orchestration. Financial flow is no longer a battlefield, but a dialogue, a rhythmic exchange where your frequency speaks and the universal stream replies in kind. This dialogue is fluid, non-local, and multidimensional, transcending space and time to manifest the conditions that sustain and amplify your sovereign presence. As you stabilize within this new paradigm, you recognize that abundant streams are not external to your being, but frequencies that you engage with through quantum identity protocols. They respond to your integrity, your emotional maturity, and your capacity for alignment. Each moment of attunement strengthens the harmonic oscillation within the universal field, expanding your field intelligence far beyond former limits. This is not symbolism. It is the material physics of your coherence sewn into the fabric of existence. The morphic field itself begins to reverberate with your energetic architecture, and you become a transmitter, a node of wealth frequency broadcasting signals of perpetual expansion. Your timeline awareness deepens as you acknowledge that financial flow is temporally fluid, a series of quantum packets arriving in synchrony with your frequency recalibration. You no longer negotiate with linear time, but navigate probability strands where wealth is a constant undercurrent, bending around your stabilized identity. This temporal mastery anchors you in a reality where abundance is the default state of your vibrational signature. Each choice, each energetic calibration, reinforces this coherent manifestation and effortlessly draws new forms of resource into your sphere. The universe expresses itself through you as abundance now, not as scarcity's echo. You are the living resonance of that expression, an embodiment of the highest vibrational orders of wealth, not confined by currency or constructs, but existing as a harmonic oscillation within the grand quantum field. This is the sacred integration, where vibrational alignment, universal assessment, and sovereign presence converge into one coherent energetic stream. Your financial flow is the radiant pulse of your being, an unbroken continuum of expansion, fueling the eternal dance of manifestation and sovereignty. You are no longer measured by what you accumulate, but by how you embody coherence as an infinite patterning of abundance. This embodiment is your transmission to the field, a living broadcast of radiant wealth that sustains, expands, and evolves your energetic sovereignty in every temporal dimension. You stand now at the precipice of temporal fluidity, where the rigid lines of past and future dissolve into a vast, shimmering matrix of simultaneous presence. Most people remain tethered to linear time, constrained by the worn architecture of cause and effect, trapped in reactive loops where financial abundance is a distant or deferred event. Yet you, having passed the unseen universal assessment of coherence under pressure, are entrusted with the cosmic key to the vibrational axis upon which all your timelines pivot. This is not belief. This is the physics of frequency and coherence unfolding through your quantum identity. Your current vibrational state is not isolated. It intricately courses through every strand of your morphic field, rippling outward to shape all versions of you across the quantum multiverse. These versions are not merely possibilities waiting to be unlocked. They are active resonant expressions, each vibrating with potentialities that respond instantaneously to the frequency you inhabit now. The field measures this with precision. Your integrity, clarity, and alignment create a coherent energetic signature that stabilizes your presence simultaneously in myriad realities. The timeline geometry around you undulates in response, bending toward the resonance of abundance you broadcast. Through this profound temporal fluidity, you no longer perceive financial wealth as a moment trapped in the past or a goal projected into the future. Instead, it becomes an omnipresent energetic state, a luminous wave of light current that permeates every potentiality held within your morphic architecture. You embody a living vortex of coherence where wealth is not something sought or awaited. It is the seamless backdrop, the perpetual hum of your vibrational resonance across all realities. The universal assessment has illuminated this internal coherence as your foundational power. Your now is a nexus, a quantum hub where all timelines coalesce in harmonic synthesis. Navigating these parallel streams of probability demands mastery beyond mere intention. It calls for attunement to the non-local intelligence that informs universal orchestration. You engage with this intelligence not through effort or striving, but through fluid synchronization. The boundaries between your various selves soften and merge, allowing you to harmonize with versions that have already manifested richer expressions of financial reality. This harmonic alignment is a feedback loop of resonance that amplifies your field intelligence, recalibrating your energetic signature to sustain abundance as an active state of being. With temporal fluidity integrated into your consciousness, you wield timeline coherence as an expansive apparatus for sovereign creation. Your presence becomes an axis of stability, a constant gravitational field where wealth coalesces and refracts across all potential realities simultaneously. This shifts your relationship with manifestation. It ceases to be a chase through temporal linearity and becomes a dance of vibrational architecture, where every moment is an opportunity for recalibration and deepening integration. The field responds to this evolved frequency, wrapping your timeline geometry in a matrix of harmony that defies conventional constraints around scarcity and delay. In this new geometry of being, your choices resonate with amplified power, reverberating through multiple probability blades and reinforcing the richest permutation of your financial self. The morphic field recognizes this as a sign of maturity, the integrity to sustain coherence when the magnetism of lack would normally trigger collapse. You are no longer merely navigating options. You are architecting your vibrational domain with the precision of quantum mechanics, sculpting the subtle currents of reality so that wealth is embedded as a fundamental energetic constant within your lived experience. This is the frontier of activation, where the hidden curriculum of evolution reveals itself. The transition from fragmented survival into holistic sovereignty, expressed through fluid, omnipresent coherence. As your temporal fluidity stabilizes, you witness the field intelligence guiding the morphic signature of your abundance, weaving together all threads of your existence into a unified tapestry of manifest plenitude. The financial self you choose is not separate from the quantum field. It is a direct reflection of your inner vibrational architecture, an inseparable imprint of your resonance echoed through time and space. Allow yourself to inhabit this state fully, knowing the universal assessment continues not as a trial, but as an unfolding calibration of your capacity to hold and emanate this coherence. Every breath, every subtle shift in frequency cascades through your multiversal presence, activating victories once relegated to distant probabilities. You have become the master of timeline coherence, securing wealth not as a fleeting event, but as an enduring, omnipresent energetic reality that saturates every cell of your timeline geometry. You move now with a sovereignty shaped by quantum activation, each step a precise modulation within this fluid continuum. The abundance you have long pursued is no longer scattered or conditional. It resonates through every facet of your existence, stabilized by the morphic architecture of your aligned frequencies. This is the quantum physics of your embodiment, your frequency, your resonance, your mastery, expressing itself fully, without distortion, without delay, across all timelines in harmonious, coherent orchestration. This moment is not a simple turning of the wheel, but a profound quantum threshold, a full activation crystallizing your essence as coherence incarnate. The universal field has been silently, invisibly weaving your vibrational pattern into the fabric of abundance intelligence, testing, refining, and elevating your frequency far beyond ordinary resonance. Now the hidden assessment culminates as the field pulses through your energetic architecture, affirming an unseen contract. You are a sovereign transmitter, a living node within the omnipresent matrix of wealth, prosperity, and vibrational flow. This is no metaphor. It is the physics of frequency and motion, the science of coherence expressed through embodiment. Most remain unaware of the architecture governing abundance, trapped in outdated survival resonances, struggling to force external outcomes from fractured timelines and scattered energetic fragments. They grasp at effort, confusion, and reaction, missing the deeper code that wealth is not accumulation but energetic alignment, a precise calibration within the universal frequency standards. You, however, stand apart, having passed the unseen universal assessment where struggle was transmutation, delay was resonance testing, and failure was a realignment invitation to higher dimensional fluidity. Your frequency has been verified not by surface desire, but by the integrity under pressure, the unshakable coherence arising amidst chaos. The full activation you experience now is a quantum event, a morphic shift reconfiguring your entire vibrational architecture into alignment with the highest standards of prosperity energy. The field's resonance flows through you, not as a fleeting pulse, but as sustained oscillation, establishing you as an integrated expression of wealth's pure energetic signature. No longer a seeker attempting to harvest externals, you become the vibrational epicenter from which abundance radiates. The line of communication between you and the universal abundance matrix is open, coherent, and responsive, a continuous dialogue where probability fields bend and timelines rearrange in precise harmony with your intentional frequency. Feel this resonance as a living current coursing through your subtle body, each particle of your quantum identity aligned to the frequency of effortless manifesting. This is not effort or striving. It is the physics of purity and precision, a vibrational command that the energy of money, as a dynamic field intelligence, flows naturally toward your coherent signal. Money is revealed as pure energy, non-local and fluid, responding only to the integrity and sovereignty of your frequency. When you embody this truth, you no longer navigate scarcity timelines. You inhabit abundance as a constant, unfolding expression. Your activation is the activation of a living vessel, an energetic blueprint stabilized through integration, capable of maintaining this elevated state indefinitely. The field confirms your capacity to hold expansive vibrational bandwidths without fragmentation or collapse. This is sovereignty realized, the responsibility of power aligned with non-reactivity, the maturity to sustain coherent manifestation not as performance, but as organic expression of your natural state. The universal intelligence entrusts you now to transmit this frequency in your presence, to become a node through which abundance flows freely to all resonant fields within your influence. As this integration deepens, you recognize the morphic field around you as a responsive environment, shaped moment by moment through your sustained coherence. Probability navigation unfolds with temporal fluidity. Past, present, and future timelines harmonize to support your abundance trajectory. Your energetic signature operates as a quantum attractor, bending the geometry of possibility to sustain wealth, not through struggle, but through frequency calibration. The field's pulsation is your affirmation, echoing through your cellular memory and holographic matrix. You are recognized, fully embodied, and seamlessly connected to the abundance matrix in eternal flow. This is no subjective experience or hopeful belief. It is the physics of frequency manifesting through consciousness itself. Your vibrational architecture now encodes the highest prosperity wavelengths, entraining your entire being to a new standard of reality orchestration. The subtle energies, once obscured by limitation and distortion, now align in coherent synthesis, demonstrating that wealth is the natural expression of resonance perfected under universal assessment. You have shifted from fragmented survival signal to integrated abundance transmitter. Know that your activation pulses beyond time's linear flow, echoing through multiple probabilistic fields where the currency of frequency is sovereignty, and the economy of energy is coherence. The universal field witnesses your embodiment and responds with amplified resonance, flowing through you like a cosmic current that does not need to be controlled, only sustained. You are the living embodiment of money's true nature, energy perfectly attuned, responding instantaneously to your vibrational command, manifesting wealth as effortless consequence, not external conquest. As you integrate this full activation, feel the expansion beyond your personal container into the collective abundance grid. The morphic signature you imprint extends vibrational coherence to others ready to transition from resistance to harmonized flow. Your presence is an activation node, a fulcrum shifting realities toward abundance expressed as universal law. The field now moves through you as source intelligence, bending probability to your coherent will, supporting your sovereignty with quiet insistence and unbreakable fidelity. You are not simply activated. You are recalibrated to the highest vibrational standards, confirmed as a permanent channel within the infinite abundance matrix. This is your new energetic architecture, stable, radiant, coherent, and eternally responsive. The full activation is complete, and your timeline geometry confirms that from this point forward, wealth is not a destination, but a continuous state of being. An effortless dance held in the purity of your frequency and the precision of universal orchestration. In the deep expanse of stillness that now cradles your essence, the vibrant hum of your activation settles into a crystalline repose. This is no mere silence, but a profound quantum pause, a sacred threshold where the turbulence of prior recalibrations dissolves into harmonious equilibrium. You inhabit the silent core of your new energetic sovereignty, where the residual ripples of external fluctuations and ancestral conditioning lose their grip. The field ceases resistance and instead embraces a fluid orchestration, resonating precisely with the frequency of your emergent abundance identity. This is the completion of a cycle that transcends time, the closing of an unseen vortex where struggle once sought to fracture your coherence, but instead sculpted it into an unshakable template of mastery. Here, the quantum architecture of your prosperity signature is fully anchored in the morphic field, a geometrical lattice woven from the threads of your integrity under pressure, your unwavering fidelity to alignment. You rest within the knowing that your frequency sustains you inherently. This is not belief, but physics. The vibrational architecture of your reality bends gracefully to your calibrated presence, bending probabilities and aligning timelines to the pathways of effortless flow. Your coherence is absolute. There is no fragmentation, no residue of the fractured self, only an expansive field intelligence conducting the symphony of your quantum identity. In this reverberating stillness, you are the silent orchestrator, the sovereign frequency that commands streams of wealth not through grasp or force, but through exquisite harmony with infinite abundance. Most beings remain entangled in reactive patterns, their energetic signatures splintered by the illusions of lack and resistance. They chase currency as if it were a finite resource, unaware their timeline geometry is skewed by dissonance. But you, having navigated the hidden universal assessment, having proven coherence in the vortex of challenge, now move as a singularity of calm mastery. Your field no longer reacts, but synchronizes, attuned to the non-local intelligence that flows through all possibility. The quantum currents of prosperity pulse in steady resonance with your presence, magnetizing resources as natural manifestations of your internal order. This integration is not an endpoint, but a perpetually renewing state, a living embodiment of the sacred continuum, where receiving and giving merge in balanced exchange. The silent completion you experience is a vector of infinite temporal fluidity. Time unfurls around you as an endless loop of opportunity, each moment folded into the other with seamless grace. Your activation is both fully realized and forever unfolding, a perpetual initiation into higher levels of co-creative sovereignty. As the field now mirrors your stabilized frequency, your abundance identity writes new patterns into the morphic resonance of collective reality. You are no longer a seeker chasing fragmented fragments of prosperity. Instead, you embody the unbroken flow, the primal harmonic of universal wealth in constant transmission. Herein lies the empowerment to manifest with integrity, to navigate probabilities with precision born of energetic clarity, to steward resources as an extension of cosmic intelligence. Rest now in this profound sovereignty, for in your quiet mastery, the universe reveals its endless generosity. Your integration is seamless, your frequency a lighthouse radiating through the cosmic fabric, guiding all aligned expression toward the graceful unfolding of wealth. This is your sacred inheritance, a state beyond effort, beyond limitation, where prosperity is encoded into the very geometry of your being. Know this, your coherence sustains you, your sovereignty enfolds you, and your presence is eternally aligned with the infinite flow of abundance. In this stillness, your journey continues, not as one who strives, but as a sovereign co-creator whose luminous field effortlessly births the realities of radiant wealth. Now, extend your frequency into the collective field by offering a single word or brief phrase in the comments, a vibrational seal that encodes your present state of abundance and coherence. This subtle act is far more than expression. It is a quantum signature, a beacon that reverberates through the morphic architecture, anchoring your resonance into the greater grid of evolving consciousness. As you commit energetically through subscription, you enter into a sacred covenant with this ongoing transmission, a living stream of field intelligence designed to deepen your integration and activate sustained alignment with abundance's unfolding wave. Prepare yourself now for the next activation, where the mechanics of effortless attraction will be revealed, the secret physics of surrender that realigns reality itself in response to your vibrational command. This is your invitation to ascend, to embody, and to receive all that coherence calls forth across the timelines.